or whatever. All right, y'all good?
Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing at your fucking feet not touching the floor. That shit's hilarious. All right, we good? We rolling? We rolling? What? Oh.
I don't want to know what doubt you have.
Rickety.
All your cameras is recording already?
Yeah.
You fancy?
What do you mean? I pushed them. Oh my god.
Yo, why my mom just won $7,000 at the fucking casino? Like, what the fuck? She in Vegas. She just got there. Like, how?
7,000?
7,000.
What the fuck do your mom be doing?
Yeah.
Like, how much did she?
Listen, prior to that, she does like she'll do like online casino. She won 2,500 and then she won 13. She always wins.
Did she ever give you any?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's what's up.
Listen, as I said, I don't want to be here. I didn't ask to be here, please.
All right, man. Yeah. Arrow Jackson with 616. Creator and host of One Mic Stand. Also, 1/3 of Sex and Strangers. Shout out to C and shout out to Juice. Fuck is popping. Look who I got on the fucking sofa with me today. We in Philly again. I'm in the same place, different outfit, different hat, different shoes, same seat though.
Got sleeves.
But yeah,
Can't have no sleeves on.
but I'm whatever. I'll make it my rounds, man. And I beg these two to come and sit on the sofa and do kind of like a reunion show with me. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Matter of fact, fuck my intro. Go ahead and intro it, man.
Welcome to another episode of Sex with Strangers, a Girl Post podcast. I'm Seymour Queen.
Hi, I'm Juice.
You not even supposed to go second.
First of all, this is my show now. So there's that, and I'm the innocent one. So
Still?
yes, you niggers.
Yeah. Jackson 1616.
I did. I didn't realize I missed show until I seen y'all. Because people asked me, and I was like, I don't miss them.
This bitch, she lying.
People ask me, like, you miss podcasting. I was like, I don't miss, like, I miss podcasting. I don't miss Sex with Strangers, though.
I got you. Go into that more. What you mean?
I just don't miss talking about sex and dating. I think I was getting over that part of it. And I was getting over my life being a joke. So, so I don't miss that part of it now. But there is times where I miss it. Like when I'm going through stuff, like the podcast always, it was always like comic relief for everyone that listened to it. But it was comic relief for us too, because we would be going through real shit. And it's like we meet up on Wednesday and, the shit that we're going through, we could laugh about it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I never really handled my shit when I was doing a podcast. I just kept laughing about it and crying later. So, yeah.
I got you. So what have y'all been up to, man? Give us like a rundown of kind of what your life has been like without the pod or without being able to kind of sit down and, because I had a kind of a brief conversation about like what you just said, where you could be living your life and going through things, but you kind of knew on a weekly basis that you had somewhere to go to kind of like get it off your chest, get it off your mind, or at least vent about it, to where maybe you may not have had other people in your life where you could vent to it in the fashion that you could kind of vent to us about it.
You want me to go first or?
Either one of y'all, cause you looking like shit.
Cause no, I feel like she has more going on. I'm like, let me.
But you don't. But
cause you got a bit like no. So the podcast ended, and of course, I mean, like you open up a business.
I mean,
can we talk about it?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like even though I'm doing a lot more, I still feel like I'm not doing enough.
But you're still doing something.
Yeah,
like
I
it's we're gonna always feel that way until like I feel like that's just the human way. We always feel like we're not doing enough, or we feel like we can have more. But it's still a great accomplishment.
Yeah, I got my little business. I make t-shirts.
Don't call it little, nigga.
Well, it's not. It's little for now.
And get a little closer. Get a little closer. Yeah.
Like, it's little for now because I'm just getting started. Like, I have a few loyal customers that come to me for their merch or whatever like that, but trying to balance that and being a mom and try to get sleep, like, that shit is hard. It's hard. It's real hard.
What made you wanna? Was that something that you was like easing yourself into, like while we were still doing the pod, or like how did that come about?
Yeah, like, I started getting like little equipment, like here and there, like when I could afford it, to like teach myself how to do it. And then I feel like I wasted my money by trying to like ease myself into it because I couldn't get rid of the shit that I already had because I needed bigger equipment. So I mean, it's working for me now. So
I got you.
yeah, but it's something that I taught myself. At first it was just like, I'm bored, so let me teach myself. TikTok is the fucking devil.
Yo, she
Bitch, where the fuck is my ashtray?
We're not gonna start about that yet because that shit is half painted, still sitting in the back room, like where the rest of the shit is at. But yeah, TikTok will make you feel like you could do any fucking thing, and that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's good. Fact.
What about like, where's your headspace at as far as, you know, being a mom, and are you back in dating yet? Are you back fucking yet? Are you back doing any of the?
I miss it sometimes, but like, I don't miss it. I don't miss being bothered by these niggas. Like, these niggas is a headache. I can't do it. My attention span is so short. Like, focusing on like my time and energy, like on the business, and then trying to focus on Kim and make sure she have fun and do stuff that kids should do. It is just like, I don't have time. I want to make time, but then again, it's just like,
What do you, when you say you want to make time, like what is that? What would making time even look like for you now?
For me right now, I don't, because I really don't know. I don't know. Making time.
Like, are you online?
No.
Are you talking to anybody? Are you entertaining conversations at all? So
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not making time. Like, I'm not putting in the effort. Like,
So no hot whole summer for you?
I don't think so. Like, this summer, like,
It's a hot whole summer 2021.
I really want to like focus on myself. I feel like I haven't like spent any money on myself and took myself on vacation and shit like that. Like, that's what I wanted to be about this summer. Like,
Yeah, you deserve.
I got you.
I don't have time to focus on nobody else. So
I got you.
maybe next summer or the summer after.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got you. So what about you? Because
Who, me?
the last time, like while the pod was still going on, you know, you were in a relationship, and then when we stopped it, this was kind of funny though. Well, not even funny, but I don't know if y'all felt like this, but like y'all were, well, you specifically were a friend before the pod, and then we did the pod for like 5 fucking years, and it was almost like,
It don't even seem like it was that
it
long.
don't, but it was weird because it was like a talking to you or talking to y'all on a weekly basis was like, it started off as, it was always fun for me, but it started off as just doing it for fun, and then it kind of became like a scheduled thing, like a required thing. So it was almost like, even though we were friends, it was still purposely. I know I would save conversations. Like, if we were to record on a Wednesday, but something came up where maybe I felt like I needed to talk to y'all, but it happened on like a Thursday or Friday, like, I'm gonna just wait till next Wednesday. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not y'all, but I know that's how.
Like, bitch, guess what?
Bitch, I'm dying over here.
Okay.
But like, for me, like, I would always, like, once we kind of got into like doing it kind of seriously, I would always be looking at life as content. So it was kind of weird when the pod ended. Like, I never felt like our friendship ended, but it was kind of strange because maybe some of the conversations kind of ended because it was like,
Right.
we were so used to just saving it for the pod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know how y'all felt, because I know
I
my
agree.
communication with y'all kind of fell off after we ended, but it wasn't because I didn't like, oh, fuck them. It was just more so of just like,
No.
You
And
not
no,
used
I
to-
don't even think that like us not talking like as much as like, of course there's no beef, but like I love y'all to death. I spent a good ass fucking 5 years, with y'all, and even prior to like of how close we were before, we started the podcast. So like that was a hard thing, and I like people like when I try to explain it to like people, they didn't really understand like how I could still be going through. Like I felt like I wasn't like I had to give like some distance after the podcast because I had to like mourn ending the podcast. Like people were like, "Why are you mourning? Like you didn't have to end it." I'm like, but it was still something that was such a big part of my life, and I had to get used to the whole life is not content anymore. Like it's real shit.
Yeah. And
that was like the biggest thing that like made me want to end Sex with Strangers was my life just feeling like, oh shit, I didn't turn my life into a damn joke. You know what I'm saying? And while it's great to have friends to like laugh at certain shit, like sometimes I just need to, laugh and take the seriousness off of things. But I wasn't focusing like on the serious shit in my life, like taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. And so it was just like, all right, I think, it was just time to end the podcast. But it was an adjustment at first. Like I didn't think that like around the time when the podcast ended, like I ended with being in this situation where, oh, I'm happy, this and the third, and then the podcast ended, and then soon after that, relationship ended. And so, like, as I'm mourning this, here comes this thing. And so it was just a shit show afterwards. Like, and there's like so many times where I'm like, I want to call y'all up, like, let's just do an episode real quick. But I feel like I had to really deal with things and do like, and it feels different now to like deal with things and like move on from it. Because I feel like for the sake of stories on the show, we always, like, I feel like I always like was stuck on situations. Like I never really got to get over like certain things that happened while we were doing the show, before we began during the show, because they always came up. And now it's just like, all right, I didn't mourn this, I didn't heal from this. Like this nigga done broke up with me, and I've been sad for months, but now I'm over it. We don't never got to talk about it again, and I like that.
Okay, I got you. As opposed to kind of having like a we're doing the pod over such a long period of time. I kind of felt like what it turned into was each of us kind of had, instead of them being people, they kind of turned into characters.
Yeah, and I was so tired of fucking C. Marquis. Like I can't, like I felt like my life was like, I remember the moment where I was like, this podcast is going to end. Like where I knew that it was going to. We did an episode, and I had talked about some domestic abuse, which this story I had never said in a joking way. Like, I will admit that I'll say some shit crazy, and we'll laugh about it. Like, my ex being there, we'll laugh about it, whatever. And even if, like, I felt some type of way that my ex was dead, like, we'll still just, like, chuckle about it, like, oh, gosh, that's crazy. But I talked about this domestic abuse thing and talked about my teeth getting knocked out, and y'all laughed. And I remember feeling some type of way, and I'm just like, why do I feel some type of way? Because we joke like this. This is what we do. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like, that night, I'm just like, I didn't turn my life into a joke. My friends, like, these my friends at the end of the day. Like, we do this podcast, but we friends. I'm like, they think it's a joke too. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this shit no more. Mm. That's why, like, that's kind of where I was at with it. Because I wasn't ever going to get better, like, mentally. Like, all the therapy, like, I wasn't going to get better, I feel like, if I didn't end Sex with Strangers.
Mm. And you know what's funny about that is, like, people, because out of the three of us, and I say this all the time, like, I was usually the one that people, like, really tried to, like, reach out to and have, like, conversations with, because, y'all mean and shit.
And Seymour Queen is a shit. And I also felt like listen back to the episodes and listen to things that had, like, thinking about things that I'm like, I was a shit show, like, up and down every fucking week. It was something new with me. It was a different nigga. It was different, different shit going on. Like, I was just a fucking mess. Like, and I probably am mean and shit too. Well, whatever. But I don't know. I wasn't the one to talk to me either.
But I got the question. People always would ask me. I don't know if they would ask y'all or not. But people would always ask me, why are y'all ending the show? People would, like, think that we, like, had, like, a fallout or like fights or arguments or some shit. And when I tried to answer, I would always basically try to say it like, I feel like C is going through like a phase in her life where she wants to grow, but she can't really grow if sex with strangers is still a thing. Because I think I always thought that you thought that kind of what made sex with strangers like super funny and super just pop and super raw was the fact that we really brought our real lives onto the show. But somewhere in there, it's like you start to like if you grow and leave the bullshit behind, I thought that you feared that the show wouldn't be good because what made the show good kind of was the bullshit.
Fucking sad.
Like, you know what I mean? Like kind of and not really not just for you, but really for all of us. But maybe you were feeling like the weight of that.
Yeah, I didn't want to be. I already felt like I was the least liked person on the show, or I don't know what I felt, but like that's what I felt that way. And so now that I'm like entering this new point in my life, like I felt like, all right, now I'm like, am I too serious? Like I was fearing being too serious, like because I didn't want to be that necessarily, but like here we are doing this show for 5 years and we had our funny fucking moments. But behind closed doors, I'm going through real shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going through like a lot of depression. I'm going through, suicide. I'm going through all of this shit. And on the other side of it, it's not funny for me. You know what I'm saying? And so having to come and, I'm not always feeling funny. Like I'm not always feeling in the mood to be, but I felt like I had to be all the time. I had to be this. I had to be C. Marquis. I had to be like this. Just all over the place. But when we ended the podcast too, like I thought about everything. Like I thought about the new money we was making. I thought I thought about YouTube, like both of y'all, and where I felt that, because from the rip I had always said like I want everybody to walk away from this like doing their own thing or whatever, and I felt like it was a good time to do that. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, I can't speak for y'all necessarily, but I felt that Juice was in a place where she wanted to focus on being a mom and making her situation better for her and her child first thing. And I felt that you deserve to like just focus on your own platform and build yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like Sex with Strangers wasn't going to last forever. Like that's just what it was going to be. So I was like, I feel like he's in a good place. He's building his brand, and all right, I think this is probably good. And I'm over this. I'm over this sex. And I was over talking about sex with dating. Like it got so, when we first started the podcast, we're like, when me and you started this, right? It was like, we having all these conversations like, oh, take the taboo off the table and talk just raw conversation. And I think that's what everybody thinks when they're starting a podcast and they're talking about, sex and dating in particular. But what ends up happening, it just becomes a fucking shit show. It comes with all these different opinions about what sex and dating should be, and everyone's arguing, all of these rules come into place, and it's just a fucking mess. When in reality, the message is to just do what the fuck you want. Consent, respect bodies and boundaries, and keep it age appropriate. But it is, you do what you want with your sex life and your date life, make it what you want to. And then it just became a shit show. And so having all of these like debates and arguments, like I'm not talking about sex and dating. Honestly, I entered doing podcasting as a storyteller. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sharing my stories. Like I'm not trying to debate with you niggas about whether you should pay. Yeah, you should fucking pay for this. I don't want to go back and forth with y'all about it. Like, and then there's really no argument. Like, you can say, oh, you asked me on a date, I don't feel like I should pay. Boy, fuck you. Like, we ain't arguing about this today. So I just, like, I feel like now even like sex and dating like it has become like this argument. Like it's one side here and one side that, and it's just like I don't give a fuck about it that much. Like I love sex, I love dating, and that's all I know.
when did that hit you like that though? Either one of y'all, because I don't. You know what? Well, before you answer that though, did you like? Were you tired of that same, I guess, dance? Just as far like what we kind of talked about. I mean, we had a lot of jokes and shit in there, but the basis of what we talked about really was just fucking dating, the rules, our thoughts, our opinions. Like, was that something that you ever felt like it was getting old?
I mean, it wasn't that was getting old. It's just it felt like it started feeling like a chore, kind of, sort of like not even like the talking part. It's just like the showing up part. Like that, I felt like I was taken away from Cameron.
I got
like my time away from her because I was still trying to do other stuff, and I feel like even now I feel guilty being on my phone and being on my computer, like not paying her attention, and she's trying to crawl up and sit on my lap, and and I can't focus being on the computer and hold her. You know what I mean? Because little kids, they touch shit, and it's just like I can't read this and play with you. So I just felt like, even though I'm home all day with her, like even when I was working from home, I worked that job for like 2.5 weeks. And I was just like, I can't do this because I couldn't handle her being on the other side of the door crying, banging on my door like,
right.
Bitch, you hear me out here. Open up this damn door because I know you in there. She can hear me and I can hear her, and I felt guilty like being away from her for that long. Like,
I got you.
So yeah, it was like starting to turn into like a chore, like leaving the house to like actually be away from her.
Got you. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, when did you see, like, when did it hit you that it was kind of getting like damn, we got to talk about this again? Because you know what's funny is like,
I
go ahead.
I had a moment because, of course, this nigga always saves his stories until like the day, like at the show, and I remember just having this. He was like, "Yeah, so it occurred to me," or whatever he says, to like he's about to tell a story, and we about to debate some shit, and I was just like, in my head, I was like, I don't give a fuck, like, oh goddamn, do we have to talk about this shit again, like.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like it was again. It probably was something new, but it was just like I just don't want to talk. Like, I don't care about sex and dating. Like, I care about it for me. I don't care about it for y'all.
Yeah.
Like, not y'all, but like the people. Yeah. Do what the fuck you want. Again, keep it consensual, you nasty fucks. Respect people's boundaries and bodies, but I just couldn't. I wasn't feeling this shit no more. Yeah. And it was hard because, like, I remember when we first started the podcast of people saying, like, aren't you guys going to run out of sex topics? And it's just like, no, we can always talk about stuff. But I felt that we did run out of stuff. Or maybe, like, the conversations, like, even now, like, of just seeing other podcasts of these just recycled conversations about the same thing. And every time, like, and I will say that, like, we were together, we spent 5 years together. So the conversations and the tones of the conversations definitely change. Mm-hmm. Because, start off the podcast not eating ass, and then all of a sudden we eating ass again. You know what I'm saying? Or, different things change in our lives. We had different perspectives. We grew up a lot during the show. Like, yeah. But I still just ain't give a fuck. Like, I was just like, all right. Like, I wanted to mind my business. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to mind my black ass business. And that was that. I didn't want to talk to niggas. Like, I didn't want to talk about this. I just wanted to enjoy my sex life in peace on the low.
I got you. I was going to say, like, I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm trying to shift the debate part of it. Because what it feels like is it does kind of feel like you're trying to speak for the masses. Like, when I have an opinion on something, like, people will send me stuff. Like, it's to the point where people will send me, like, screenshots or posts or reposts, and, like, with hopes that, like, it'll trigger me in some way, shape, or form so that I'll give my opinion on it. And which is cool. Like, it's kind of flattering in one sense, but in the other sense, I have seen some of those posts and just been like, I don't really even have an opinion on this. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like a strong enough opinion to, like, really sit down and formulate thoughts and try to, like, have some sort of like monologue about it or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what I will say is like I'm trying, and I'm still in the middle of like trying to shift from the debating part or the argument part, because that doesn't really seem to get people anywhere. But I'm trying to get to the...
And I'm sorry to cut you off. It's really no debating when it comes to sex. And, like, we all like different things. Like, even when we first started the show, we were like, yeah, suck dick or you gonna lose your man. Like, you gonna lose your motherfucking man not sucking no dick. Now, you might.
You still probably gonna lose him.
But not really considering why people didn't like these things or, you know, and some people surprisingly don't care if they get their dick sucked sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not really. And I didn't want to be that person trying to tell you how to live your sex life, because I wish a motherfucker would come to me and tell me how to do some shit or what I should be doing. Like, you need to mind your motherfucking business. That's what you need to do. So, like, and I feel like a lot of these conversations when we like get into these, especially, I feel like it's a straight people thing, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this whole men versus women thing and what we should be doing, it's just like, fuck off.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, because that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to shift from trying to say what I feel like other people should do, and I'm trying to make it to where I just want to put out how people feel and allow people to kind of like do with that information whatever they will. You know what I mean? Because I think one of the things that makes it like a man versus woman thing is it is like men trying to tell women what they should or shouldn't do. It is women trying to tell men what they should or shouldn't do, as opposed to maybe a group of guys sitting down telling each other how they feel, and then if women watch it, they can take whatever it is that they want to take from it. But we're not telling you what to do. Yeah. We're not telling you what not to do. We're just telling you our experiences, and you can take that, cherry pick the information, and move forward with it however you want.
But everybody wants to argue, because everyone wants to feel like, all right, if you say, man, I want my dick sucked 24/7, but I don't suck dick 24/7. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? You want your dick sucked 24/7? Like, it's like everything is like, yo, I'm not saying this to argue. I'm just telling you what I want. Why don't you relax, man? Like, you ain't the one sucking my dick in the first place. Like, you like, it's just, people be so hyped to, like, when they say something, like, when we say, like, we want this or want that, people, for instance, I told a guy, I said, listen, I'm done lying to you niggas. My love languages is acts of service and gifts. He gonna say, well, I ain't gonna get you a gift, maybe every now and then. Bitch, then you can't be here. Like, it's not, like, he was, like, trying to argue with me about gifts being my thing, and I'm just like,
bitch, if I told you that's what I want,
it don't have to be big. It don't have to be big gifts. It can literally be a toe ring. Like, you know what I'm saying? They like 99 cents at the beauty store. By the way, but it's just like little things like that, like, you know, like that you like. You know what I was trying to explain to him? Like, it's just like paying attention to me and the things that I like, and you saying, okay, oh, here goes this, because I'm the same way. Like, I'm a big giver in relationships. I'm a very big on acts of service and stuff like that. But then, you know, he wanted to argue with me about those being my love languages when it wasn't me. I'm sorry if this is triggering. When it wasn't,
you good. It's still fuck that book
yell
forever.
at me on your show,
but I'm
like,
good though. I'm good though. You good? But fuck that book.
Maury.
Fuck that book. Fuck it.
But, you know, he turned it into this big argument, and it's just like, I'm not arguing with you about what I say that I want. Now, if you don't want to do it, then that's fine, but there ain't no argument to it.
Yeah.
This is what I like, this is what I want, and I'm not debating back and forth with you about it. But again, motherfuckers like to argue.
And to piggyback off of that, I feel like not only do people like to argue and debate and shit like that, it's just like motherfuckers don't listen either. It's just like, I be seeing people tweet like, oh, if you living with a man or you living with a woman and he don't pay all the bills, and it's just like, how you gonna dictate what somebody else do in they fucking household? Like, if this rent is $1,600 and this nigga is only bringing home $1,600, and I'm sitting over here with $36,000 fucking dollars in my bank account, and I expect this nigga to pay all the bills, girl, you gonna be homeless fucking with this nigga.
Which,
like,
by the way,
it's just like, why are you worried about what somebody else is doing for their household? Do what works for your. If your nigga can pay all the bills, bitch, I'm happy for you.
If you a nigga that like to pay the fucking bills, I swear to God. I swear to God.
Because, bitch, I wish a
I will love on you like no other.
Listen, I swear to God, I would.
As soon as you get home from work.
Listen, that dinner gonna be fucking ready. Like, let me run
every
it back.
fucking day.
You
like your steak medium or medium well, sir.
You gonna turn right into 24/7 dick sucker, nigga.
Listen, I've been paying my own fucking bills for way too long. I am ready for a nigga to be like, you know what?
And let that nigga be a good nigga on top of paying all the bills and handling his shit.
Now you just asking for too much now. Like, relax.
You know what? Listen, you can talk to me if you pay all the fucking bills. You can talk to me a little bit saucy. You
can a tad bit. I ain't even want. A bitch need to be humbled every now and then.
Listen,
but you're not gonna walk around this bitch every day.
The way that I want a nigga to pay all my bills is like ridiculous. Listen. I am done paying. I'm sick of having $4 in my bank account after I went to my parents like, listen, I can't find a nigga. Y'all need to help me right now because I want to go on wholecations.
Oh my God.
Listen.
Oh my Lord.
I just need an extra $100 every now and then. That's all I want.
Listen.
I'm sick of having $4.
I would even deal with a nigga depending on what half means. Like if it's like if a nigga rent like $3,000 and he be like pay half, I'm like, oh no. But if the rent like $1,500, I don't mind going half. I don't mind going fucking half. I'm just so tired of just like on top of just being fucking me. I'm tired of paying all these fucking bills. Like I just don't.
Do y'all ever like speaking of that, right? Like y'all may not be joking. Y'all probably not joking.
I'm not joking at all.
I'm dead serious.
But like, do you see an end in sight of like the struggle? Like, is that something that y'all envision or something that y'all think about? Like, and how you're gonna get there to the point where paying bills isn't as stressful as it has always seemed?
I cried about this shit recently, honestly. I don't know. Like sometimes I think, what Juice was saying in earlier was of just that feeling of just not doing enough sometimes. So like people will look at me like, oh, you got your own place, you got this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, well, I want to go on vacation every month. Like, no, seriously, I really do. Like, I want to go places. I want to travel. I don't want to say I love going out to eat because I'm fat. But I love going out to eat with my friends. Like, I don't want to have to think about, can I afford this? Right. Sometimes. Like, yeah, like my bills are covered, but I just want some more money to just do, like, whole shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no kids. Like, bring on the hoe. Like, but I feel like I can't be a top tier hoe with the little bit of funds that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely want to do more stuff. So I do struggle with like, I had like a very breakdown moment with my mom over the weekend of just kind of feeling like, here I am, I'm about to be 32, and I never imagined this for myself at 32, of just kind of in this space of just not knowing, because of course when you're a kid, you think you're going to be like with a rich nigga and have your kids and have all your, ducks in a row.
You like, yeah.
I really thought that. Like, you would have asked me where I was going to be at 32, I was going to be a film director with, I don't know why I thought that, but I was going to be a film director with like, a husband and 3 kids and a puppy and shit. I'm allergic to dogs now. Like I don't have no children and I don't have no fucking husband. Like none of that, those things lined up. And now like looking at my life, like though I'm not doing that bad, I'm just still not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And right now I think where I'm at is like, well, how do I get there? Like, and where exactly do I even want to be? Because now I kind of feel like my perspective on a lot of things have changed. So I'm in a space where I don't necessarily know what I want. Only thing I know is that I don't want to be broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to worry about money, but it's like, what am I about to do to get there? Yeah. What am I about to do to like live my ultimate whole life? Yeah. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking niggas, like, that's later down the line. But we talking about the money shit first. Like,
you might have to fuck the niggas to get the money though. That is the whole shit. Is it not?
No. Like, I mean, when we say our whole shit, like, I just want to take,
fun shit.
I want to go on fun shit, hang out with my friends and people that I actually like. Like, it really doesn't, whole shit really doesn't even involve the niggas because they so fucking annoying and cheap. Yeah. I want to go out with my girlfriends and eat fucking crazy ass food like every day for like 5 days, you know, on a nice beach and shit like that. Like, you know.
I got you.
And have unlimited fucking drinks.
Yeah,
like,
and get in a fucking listen, I stayed in Florida, real quick story. I stayed in Florida for a whole month. I had to get my shit together because I was getting over a stupid ass heartbreak. Went to Florida. I had never gotten into a hot tub because I always thought that it would give me that warm ass feeling. So I avoided hot tubs my whole fucking life. And finally, I got into a hot tub. Now, it did give me the warm ass feeling. But the warm ass feeling wasn't a bad feeling at all. And now I need a motherfucking hot tub. And so that's what I want now. Like, you know, going, and I think I needed that trip to kind of figure out, like, I don't necessarily know how I'm going to go about these things, but I know the type of things that I want in my life now. I want to go on more trips and hang out and just live a good ass. I don't have any children. I want to go and fight. I'm like, why am I here right now in this fucking city where I came back from Florida after a month and the houses was this close together? I was like, was they always like this? Was I always living in poverty like this? I could be, you know, I could be in different places.
From like Atlanta, it's just like,
it was ridiculous.
I'm coming back to the trenches. Why are y'all living in filth like this?
You know, and I realized, I'm like, damn, I could live a crazy ass whole life. Like, I could have a good ass fucking time. And, you know, here I am. So, like, now it's kind of like about, like, all right, what am I about to do? And, like, I don't believe really too much in working, for real. Like, I want to do the least work as possible. Like, I'm not a 2-job bitch. Like, I want one little job that I barely do shit at, and I want to make some money. So it's like, okay, what am I about to do to have this set up in place here?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm really at right now.
I got you. Do you know what that is? I know you have. You gotten back on your
Yeah, I definitely have writing, but writing is so, like, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like one of those things where you kind of really have to hustle a lot to, you know, I'm pretty much starting over again. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that ain't really making no money. And I think part of me is disgusted with writing because of that. Like, I want to, you know, us doing a podcast, we got a little bit of taste of a little paper. And I'm like, okay, you know, I can do this. But writing is just like, oh shit, y'all really not gonna pay me for this? Y'all not gonna pay to read this at all? So that's the part of it that I really don't, you know, I think I'm like kind of thinking like fast money right now.
How tough was it to going back to like the beginning of the pod, in your experience, if you could remember, like, what was the hardest part about trying to build our audience up? And I asked that question because you mentioned writing and having to kind of start back from square one. And even though One Mic Stand started off as like a spinoff of Sexual Strangers, honestly, mm-hmm. I find myself trying to figure out ways to try to build my audience kind of from square one too. And it's frustrating as fuck.
That was the hardest part. I think that's where, like, I relied on you so much because you really got creative with promoting the show, especially like when we started doing live shows and events like that. Like, you really, I feel like that's how like NOTJAXPRODUCTIONS really like got started because of needing you to do the promotion. Like, we wouldn't have had it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel
this nigga went above and beyond.
And I feel like
this nigga used to be like on the side of the highway doing shit in the rain.
Like, you really
dedicated. Meanwhile, at home,
you sitting here with a robe in a robe with your nipples out, you know, just screaming at the camera. Okay.
Wearing wigs and shit like, bro, wow.
Okay.
Stupid.
But yeah, honestly, like, of course I feel like in some ways that we could have been bigger. Like, I think now that I like looking back at the podcast, I see why we weren't, you know, sometimes. But I think that, like, while promoting was hard, I feel like it was more so harder here in our actual city. And we always say that, but I don't think like promotion was any of our like real strong suits. Like, I feel like, you know, I'll give that to you. But even then, like, it was kind of hard just sometimes like connecting on that level. Like, I feel like you said before, you always say like, once we get you in, we got you locked in. Yeah. But it's just like getting you here. I didn't know how to get people there. Like, when I came on the show, like when I started the show, I brought audience with me.
Right.
But then it was like that extra audience. Shit, that was word of mouth. Like that I feel like
Yeah.
that was like sex with, I don't know what's going on with my ears. That was Sex with Strangers listeners. Like that was like everybody else. I feel like it was them that kind of like pushed the podcast, because I feel like promo just was not it.
That shit is tough, man. Like
It
that
really-
shit is really, really difficult, and that's something that I'm still trying to master, especially with social media always switching their algorithms up and always like.
And it's a lot harder now.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder. Like when I think about it, like sometimes like I'm like helping my girlfriend with her like new business, and she isn't on social media at all, for real. So helping her with it, I'm just like, I don't know shit about promotion, and it's a lot harder now because again, you have to think about algorithms. Like when we started the show, like 5 years ago isn't that long ago, but Instagram really wasn't worried about being in people's pockets.
Right.
Like Instagram got pissed off like in probably like our third year of doing the show, where they're like, oh no, y'all not about to be making money on this motherfucker. Like, you know, people in general making money on this app, and y'all not cutting this in.
Then the random ads started rolling in.
Now you can't even watch three stories back to back without like 2 stories back to back without seeing the ad
Seeing
now.
that,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's a lot different. The algorithm is all fucked up, so it's a lot harder. And I feel like it's one of those things like you probably have to like, you gotta like beat down people's throats, but then like you worry because you don't want to be annoying either. Like that's the part that like I struggle with in regards to promo, is like being annoying. Like you just gonna post sex all day. You just going. All right, we know this episode called "You About the Bus." Like, damn.
What about how do you feel about that, Juice? Like, as far as like having your own business and like having to push your own shit now, as opposed to like, because even though y'all give most of the promoting credit to me, it still was 3 of us at least being able to use all 3 of our platforms.
Yeah.
Even if it was like a video of some goofy shit that I did, instead of it just being on my page, it could be on all 3 of our or 4 of our pages, including the actual podcast page. So like, how do you go about marketing, promoting, or how do you fight that battle? And
I'm still like trying to figure it out. Of course, like my brother is a photographer, so I had him recently like take pictures of like the merch that I did for other people, or like I'm about to put out a shirt of my own, so I had him like take pictures of my product or whatever like that. But it's still like I don't know when to drop it. Like that's my thing. Like
what you mean?
I don't know when to drop it. Like when to announce that. Like, hey, I have this.
A motherfucking
When you got
Friday
it,
when
nigga.
niggas get paid. Like,
Hell yeah.
Like I have it right now, but it's just like I'm scared. It's not. I'm nervous that it's not going to do well.
yo,
Like,
Jackson, give her the
the
pep talk that you gave me when we when we had to drop episode 1.
Yo, I'm just like, just do that shit,
Just
nigga.
do it.
Cause this is
the most that people can say is, "Nah, I'm good," or just
Yeah.
bypass it like that. I don't know. I don't know.
But
It's
My
just-
thing is
but
this, though, like, you-
never know, like, and then you have to also play on the fact that I think I told Jackson, like, you have to play on the fact that you have, like, we still have an audience, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we
Yeah.
still have people that like want to support us and
Definitely.
stuff like that. So you just have to go and put it out there, and even if it's not successful at first, like, you just have to keep on putting shit out there till, you know, somebody else, like, more people want to like your stuff as you go. Like, when we first started the show, like, we ain't have shit. We started off with 2 mics, but that one mic just would not work. So we had one fucking mic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, if it wasn't for Jackson, I would have, because, of course, you want to be, everyone wants to be successful right off the back, but that in reality, a lot of it, like, that's just not how that shit works.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep on, like, doing it, and it's trial and error. Like, you
It's
starting a
definitely
business,
trial
like,
and
you going to
error,
sit
yeah.
on it, you know, you could probably make, I mean, let's say your idea of selling is like, oh, okay, I sold 2 shirts, and, you know, when I really wanted to sell 20 or whatever.
Right.
But it's just like, all right, well, you ain't never do it. You wouldn't make no money.
No
like, you
money,
know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, at least you made a little bit, or maybe you know what to do differently the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, he has like a fire and art studio on Germantown Avenue, and like the people that have like businesses in the community, they gonna have like a showcase. I don't know what to call it, but it's like a festival, I guess, like out in front of their store. So he told me to like come with a couple of my shirts or whatever like that to sell it out there. So that's gonna be May 8th. So I'll be on Germantown and Johnson on May 8th with all my merch. So.
All right, nigga.
I feel like that's a start. I don't know.
Do you need me to get one of them signs that's like a little arrow that's like spin that shit like bitch right here. She right here.
You can pull up with the little sign. I don't know. I'm just so scared.
Why are you scared? I mean, you know what? It's very scary starting something new. Like, even I feel like I sit on a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
But then, like, you start to see people, like, it's a suck ass feeling when you've been sitting on an idea and then like an idea, and then you see someone else do kind of like something similar, and they just jumping off, and you're like, damn, I done been sitting on this shit for like 3, 4, 5 years,
Right.
and I didn't even do shit. Like, you know, not saying that like I don't believe in like constantly comparing yourself to other people that are doing something
And
similar.
I hate that I do that.
But I do feel like, you know, it does suck when you do see someone where you've been sitting on ideas and then seeing someone actually doing their thing. Like, you're proud of them, but it's also like, damn, like
a salty feeling.
yeah, it's
like,
just kind of like, I could do this too, but I'm just like, listen, you gonna be scared your whole motherfucking life about shit. I'm scared of every fucking thing, but just go do that shit.
Yeah, and I think like the way that I be looking at that shit is like I already like leave space for the potential of this failing. You know what I mean? But like in like if I was to put out, remember when we first put out our first episode, how we was like hype off of just maybe like 10 or 20 people viewing that shit, and then it got to like 100.
I remember that shit was 14, and I
then
remember that shit hit 41. I was like, oh bitch, I made it.
You know what I mean? But it's just like I think it's all about like what the success is supposed to look like to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like shoot for that, but also just be prepared. I think the scary part is not getting success right away and then having to continuously put in the work to try to reach that goal, because that's the part, to me, I think the work is the part that scares you, because the work without reaching the success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, damn, like what if I actually try hard and I don't achieve my goal right away? You gonna feel like a failure, or that's what you think. But I think what happens is the harder you work, the harder it is to like give up. You know what I mean? Like the more hours you put in, the harder it is to be like, man, fuck this, because you didn't put so much like blood, sweat, and tears into it. Now your attitude goes into like, nah, like I'm not stopping until this shit work.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think once it transforms into that attitude, I think that's when shit kind of starts to happen. But you just gotta do that shit. That's what I will always like. Yo, man, let's just fuck it, bro. Like we just got like just do it. Remember when I was like, yo, I'm gonna be in Atlanta for my birthday. If y'all niggas are gonna be there, we could do a show. That'd be dope.
First of all,
but I was
you just like, see, you love to be in bamboozle a bitch. The bitch took me to Wendy's, and then she was just like,
I pay
you
for
mine
it.
now, like.
I pay for it.
Look, you mine now, and I own you. You come back next week, I'm like, wait a minute, bitch. Let me finish my fries first. Like, you can't trick me into some shit like this. Like,
yeah. But you just gotta jump in though, man. I think that, and we had talked about this many times on the pod, where it's just like, I feel like I got that shit from sports, and that really just kind of stuck with me, because it's like that's just a thing where, you know, you gotta jump in and then see if you can swim.
Yeah.
Like learn how to swim while you trying not to drown, nigga. Like, but next thing you know though, it's like when you realize that you can do it, then it's like, oh shit,
And
nigga.
it's
like,
such a good feeling. Like, I'm speaking from a perspective that was like you, and then Jackson was there and gave me the same talk. But once like stuff just starts happening, and then like when you really enjoy doing something, it's not that bad. Like even if it's not perfect, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna keep on doing it. I'm gonna keep on getting better, and I'm gonna keep on like just doing my fucking thing, and people gonna fuck with it.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna fuck with it. Like somebody's gonna.
Definitely.
That's how I feel about bringing us back down to sex with dating. No matter what you like, somebody's gonna fuck with it. Now it might take you until you 89 to find that person.
But when you do,
It's gonna be lit. Y'all might not be able to have sex anymore. But it will be like there's someone out there for everyone, and so it's like you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll like it. People will fuck with it, but you can't you can't not do it and not keep doing it.
I feel like
you know what I'm saying. You can't be like in and out.
Post it and put it out there and just walk over.
Shit, you know, you gotta do. You know, you gotta do what we used to do. We used to get the crowd hype when we used to do our tickets. Like we ain't really sell no tickets. Like our tickets used to do a slow build. You gotta do it like this. You gonna be like, listen, I got these pre-order, and then you gonna be like. When you get the shirts, like, all right, I got 5 left. When you really got 35 left.
Word.
I got 5 fucking left, 2 large and extra large. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know that many little people like that.
Right.
And just, you know, just kind of, you have to kind of be a little deceitful a little bit to like, you know, just you have to hype your shit up.
Hell yeah.
Are you allowed to curse on your show? Like,
Yeah, are you kidding me?
No, I mean, I know, but like,
I curse in the intro.
YouTube.
Oh, no. Fuck the YouTube. I didn't get these niggas shit for free for too long, nigga.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
YouTube. Oh, yeah, what up, Baltimore? Oh man. That's hilarious, man. What I want to ask you, see, like, because the pod was your baby. Like, what does it feel like to walk away from that? Like, now that you've actually walked away from it.
So when I ended the podcast, it was just more so about ending sex. Like now I'm realizing I don't want to do podcasting or anything like that. It was more so about ending sex with strangers in reality. Mm-hmm. And like now that, because I've told a story about how I had got into radio in the first place years ago. And I do miss podcasting or in like doing radio podcasting or whatever, but like I don't know how I want to do it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I do miss, like, I felt very proud of myself doing the show. Like it wasn't like this big ass show that everybody in the whole world knew about. But we had a worldwide like.
How you feel about that though?
I felt so accomplished.
How do you feel the fact that? And I cut you off, but fuck y'all, because y'all cut me off for 5 years. But like, how do you feel about? Do you still have ill feelings about the fact that we weren't as big as we thought that we should have been?
I never had ill feelings about it. Like I never really had like I felt that like I think that when I thought about like people supporting us, I just felt that sometimes like there was a part of me that felt like y'all need to put respect on my motherfucking name. Mm-hmm. Like, but it wasn't never like on no like I feel like we should be this big. Like because again, I will say this with 100% confidence: we were the first Black podcast in Philadelphia. Point blank, and the first popping one, you know what I'm saying? And so there were people like we literally watched people, not many people that like took our fucking style of doing things, but a lot of people did, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we set the standard of like just doing little shit as far as like talking before we actually start the podcast, like just like our style of doing podcasting, and no one wanted to really give the respect to where that shit came from. And maybe some people along the way didn't even know where that came from, but that shit started with us. So I think like in some ways, like when people are like talking about podcasting, I'm just like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I think it's more so of that, and I think it's just in this city that I feel that way. But like being on this big grand level of podcasting, I said this before, I don't think I would have been able to handle it. I wanted it for the money aspect of it. Like of course I want to be like, I want to get money and I want to, you know, have all these sponsorships so I could do whole shit, you know what I'm saying? And smoke and drink tequila, like get sections when I go out with my friends and just do ratchet shit. But I know I can't handle fame. You know what I'm saying? I can't even handle power. Like I take I get very ridiculous when I have too much leadership. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I know that I wouldn't have been able to handle it. And just to my personality of just kind of being like a little bit, you know, definitely anxious, but a little bit of introvert, a little bit just, you know, I don't know, reclusive, I guess. I wouldn't have been able to really handle fame. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't wanted fame, but I did want us to for us to feel like we reached that top level of success. And I don't necessarily think we reached that. And like in our own different ways. Like I really don't, you know, I do feel like we didn't reach our full potential. You know what I'm saying? But looking back at it now, like looking at the show now, I understand why sometimes. Like I get it. Like I get like, you know, of people having like that X factor. We was lacking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, like looking back at it, and something was missing there. And so I get it sometimes, but at the same time, you know, when it comes down on a very local level, because I feel like we hit other states great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it comes on a local level, I really do want y'all to understand that we started it first and put some fucking respect in our name. You know what I'm saying? Because no one mentions us when we do, but even when we were still had our podcast, no one really mentioned us, but you took our fucking style of shit. Like, and I see it with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't start that shit. Y'all didn't even, when we started a podcast, let me tell y'all something. When we started a podcast, no one in this fucking city knew what a podcast was. You know, what's a podcast? Like, everybody said that for years while we were doing a podcast. No one knew what that shit was. So, and when creating a podcast and trying to figure out equipment and stuff like that, now this shit is easy as fuck to do. But back then it wasn't, and that's only 5 years ago. It wasn't easy at all. So we did that shit from the fucking muscle. And I just feel like sometimes, like, and I hate to be like this, like, I started that shit first and, you know, respect my motherfucking name, but shit, respect it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like I just want a little bit more, like, you know, when y'all steal my style, when y'all steal my intro, I want y'all to at least be like, you know what? I bit that shit from C. Marquis and them. Yeah. That's all I want sometimes, just a little bit, just to let y'all know that I inspired you a little bit. Give me my flowers just a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just the asshole in me. You
know, I feel
wanting
it, though.
to be thanked.
I feel it. It's not, for me, it's not even wanting to be thanked. It's just more so of just,
I wanted to be acknowledged
Yeah,
that
exactly.
we did start something.
Exactly.
And podcasting would eventually hit here, but it hadn't when we started. And y'all didn't know what the fuck to do until we started. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all didn't know what to do. And you wouldn't even believe the amount of people that I taught how to podcast. You know what I'm saying? So
I was just about to say that. You taught a lot of people
for fucking free. Like, I put people on game for free, and I am not saying like, and it sounds like an asshole thing, but I'm fucking human. Like, I just wanted people to be like, you know what? C. Marquis did her fucking thing, and she taught me how to motherfucking do what it do, and all three of them motherfuckers taught me how to fucking do like. Who fucking freestyles an episode better than us?
Man, listen.
I feel like for me, I'm like a little salty about like the progression that we didn't really make because Philly is a popularity contest, and not to take anything away from us, like we're nobodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all these other people that have podcasts, like they were popular on the internet, so it was easy for them to, you know, jump out there and get 1,500 listens.
But one thing that a lot of people didn't have that I had to realize was that people didn't have that out of state love like we did.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like when we think about it, like y'all, like
of course these people
you can sell a show out here from Philadelphia, and we did too. It took us a while. It took us a while to sell them tickets in Philadelphia. But them motherfucking niggas in Houston ain't motherfucking play. Them niggas in Atlanta, they fucking, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like comparing in cities, I know that like maybe and I think that's why it really didn't bother me that we weren't like that popular in this city, because even when I was back doing videos, I wasn't really like, people knew who I was a little bit, but other places, which I gotta thank my cousin Q for this shit, other states was where I was popping at. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't really bother me that Philly wasn't on my time. And to be honest, I've never really felt like I fit in with Philly. You know what I'm saying? Even though I spent like a good chunk of my life here, I just never felt like I fit in with
I know exactly what you mean, because me
shit, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't bother me that I wasn't that popping here. Yeah. But it did bother me that people here would take our shit like literally verbatim sometimes and not give us, you know, our credit or even recognize that we were even like that y'all were influenced by us.
My fucking back be killing me. Don't have no kids and don't have an epidural, y'all.
Well, I think I'm good.
Nigga, I hope your dick fall off.
All right. Damn.
That's the equivalent. Like,
that's fucking extreme.
Can you imagine if somebody's just felt? That would be nice if y'all dick shed.
If what?
If it shed.
Why would that be nice?
Like every month, like it like
Instead of
breaks
getting a
off, and
period.
then like a new one comes, but it don't come back the same size. So like one month you might have like a big dick, but one month you might have a little small little teeny
And if
thing.
a bitch double back, they were like, what happened to you?
Like it break off like your big toenail. Like the big toenail on my toe always break the fuck off. So I always got one good foot and one bad foot. So like this a good month for me. Like it usually ain't this small.
Yo, if
run that shit in the drain. It usually ain't this small. Usually get bigger. I don't know what's going on this month.
Yo,
I'm a colossal click this month.
Hilarious.
if my dick shed and it got bigger, like I'll probably go to jail because I'll just be whipping my shit out in public. Like, see what y'all been missing.
I told you.
I only got it till the 30th, so y'all you better hurry up now. Oh shit, yo, I did an episode the other day where I was talking about like maybe some insecurities that some men have, and then I was talking about some insecurities that I have personally or whatever. And the clip that I put out, I said that I wish that my dick was bigger.
Yeah, I seen that.
Do y'all ever?
Fucking
Do y'all ever?
Why did you call it a weakness?
Huh?
So when I got on your live and you were talking about it, and I could just be, you was like, you referred to it as a weakness.
Well, probably just the insecurity about it, or probably just the fact that it's something that I think about. Not necessarily dick specifically, but just like, the whole, but just the whole sex thing in general. Because I'm getting to a point now where it's like I'm fucking mid-30s, nigga, like about to be late 30s. I don't know if my thoughts surrounding sex will ever really go away. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I will ever fully recover from the whole I ain't start fucking till 20 thing. Like, seriously, like.
Therapy is like is a great thing. Like, I don't know how many times everyone has to say this, but there's niggas that been fucking since they was 12, okay, and cannot fuck present day. Like, it's horrible. It's niggas that dick won't even stay in at 35, okay?
But where's their confidence though? What I'm saying is it's not really a physical thing.
Is it confidence or the audacity?
Okay, well,
Because niggas ain't.
Distinguish the two. What's the difference?
I definitely think it's audacity that niggas be having.
What's the difference?
The audacity.
But I'm saying, what's the difference between audacity and confidence
You be
though?
having the confidence to have the audacity. Like, how dare you show up there with this slinky ass dick that keeps
Like,
flying out my motherfucker.
Like, you don't
wasting my
understand.
time,
Like, you
son.
don't wonder why this shit just keeps slipping out. He probably. I wish a nigga motherfucker would think I got loosey goosey when he got a. Oh God.
When he's the one with the issue, like.
Do y'all ever have, as women though, do you ever have the moments of thinking that you're not as good as you should be sexually though?
Sexually, no. Like,
Or
physically,
anatom-
yeah.
yeah,
Like,
okay, yeah.
I think that, like, sometimes, like, me, like, just real briefly of a situation of someone leaving me where they get with someone who looks better than me, has this great fucking body, and I'm just like, oh, that's what you wanted? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are things that I like get insecure about for moments, like, of this person wanted this person, and I'm not this kind of person, and I'm not like sometimes I get insecure about not, and I can change this easily. Like, I could be a super duper girly girl, but that's just not who I am. And sometimes I get very insecure about, am I, girly enough? Am I this? Am I that? I know I'm very feminine, but like, I think like when it comes specifically to straight niggas, they don't know the difference between feminine and like girly. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just like, I want a girl to look like this. I want a nose. I want a toes. I want a hair laid. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to do all of this stuff. And it's like, I'm clean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm clean. I ain't, out here just being a fucking sloppy whore. But
I feel like that bothers me.
But
like,
that
coming
bothers-
from some men, though,
it bothers
because
me.
They don't try to pay for none of that shit either.
Yeah.
Like, even though like I can do it myself and keep myself up, but it's just like you have these requirements. You want a bitch with long ass nails, and you want this, and you want her to look like that. It's just like you're not adding to it though. Like, you're not. Oh, well, let me give you $60 so you can go get your nails done right quick, and I want it to be this color, and like you out here dropping suggestions, but you ain't paying for nothing.
or like, sometimes I think that like when it's extreme leave, like when I got left by a nigga like of like this person is completely opposite of me. Like I would have been okay. We was like in the same like big hair kind of kooky type of look. Mm-hmm. But no, like this is like, you know, you didn't left for like a video vixen. So I'm like, all right, this what you wanted the whole time, even though like sometimes it's maybe he was attracted to me for this time and he liked these things about me, but maybe, you know, this person, he likes that too. You know, and I'm not looking at it like that. I'm just looking at it as like, this is what you really wanted the whole time. Like I wasn't enough.
That's what I was gonna say like that might be. Do you even step back and think?
And that's the only insecurity that I've actually had like with niggas.
But how do you know that? How do you know which one of you is the outlier though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if a guy dated you and then you said the next person he dated was the video vixen, you know, model or whatever. Like, how do you know that she wasn't the outlier?
Because they shitted on me for that person. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's how I'm judging.
No, but or how do you know it's just because physical though? Because you never know the.
And it could be that like it could be so many different things. Like this person could have got with this, you know, this woman, because maybe it's just like, oh, you know, I don't deserve C, or I don't do this, that, and the third. Like, you know, or, you know, it could be different reasons as to why, but how I'm viewing it
That's
is
how I got you.
Sometimes I think I, like, think naturally just my insecurity just not being very girly and me feeling like I don't have any fashion sense and all this stuff like that. Like, that is the insecurity for me. And while I'm like, why don't you just go on Pinterest and look up some outfits or some shit like that? That shit don't help. I got so many Pinterest boards and I still don't know how to dress. You think like you would just be able to fix these things, but I can't. Like I just don't have no sense around these things, and so it is something that like I struggle with, and I have like how I show up physically in the world. Like I'm very confused about that, and I've always been confused about like
mean?
My look. I guess like my like how I want to like. Am I earthy? Am I, you know, girly? Okay. Am I like just a fucking boy today? You like I don't know, and so I never grasped that part of me. So that's one of the things that I'm very insecure about. So when niggas leave me for someone I'm like, oh, she's fucking beautiful, I'm thinking like I just wasn't enough and I wasn't his type, you know? But that's really the only insecurity I had. Like fucking, I don't have no insecurity about it. Like I don't have insecurities, but those are the things.
I got you.
That particular things that I have insecurity about.
But yeah, I could think of a number of things that I'm. Do you think do you think that it's possible for you to grow out of an insecurity? Or is that something that's just with you?
If niggas keep on leaving me for bad bitches and no.
Like
you know, if a nigga stay with a bitch, then maybe I won't be so insecure about this shit. But right now, no. The nigga just leave. God damn.
Bitch, you're stressful.
Do I ever think I'll be in? You know, even with therapy, like of going, like I go to therapy often, surprisingly. But even then, like of, you know, and talking to friends, of course your friends boost you up. It's still like, but these niggas keep leaving me for bad.
But
bitches.
but what I'm saying is like, because you could get, I think the growing out of the insecurity would be, even if you did get left, your reasoning for being left would change. Or do you think you'll never grow out of the fact that you left him because of a physical reason?
So it's really hard to say because I don't know if niggas just don't be honest with me about why they leave. But they always make it seem like it's not my fault. Like it's nothing you did. So it's just like, oh, it's something that you wanted. You wanted that. And I wasn't that. So that's what he like. So it's hard to leave out of that thought process. Like I could see if I was a troubling, like in the past, I've been a very toxic, troubling young person with niggas, but you know, recently that hasn't really been the case, or like the last couple of years I really haven't been that type of person, you know, and it's showed up as that person in situations. And so when it happens, it's like it's always been, you know, the guys that I really really like the most, or like, you know, just liked a lot, it was always this, like I always had to find out about another person, this other girl that was like completely, you know, opposite of me, a girl that I would like even like the date, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's this, so it just, that part of it made me insecure. Like now if it was something different, like if a nigga said like, bitch, that mac and cheese that you fucking made back in November was fucking disgusting, or like some shit like you just keep on cooking and not like putting some salt. Like, you know, if a nigga shifted the blame of why he left on me, then maybe my insecurity would change. But they don't. They be like, you were perfect. You added to my life, and I just loved you. But
yeah,
you meh.
Yeah. Huh.
You know, or if a nigga told me I was boring, like that would give me some, but they don't really give me anything. And I don't know if that's them, if there's really nothing wrong, I'm just not what they want physically, or if it's something that they're not telling me. But they haven't told me anything. And, you know, and it's easy to be like, it wasn't me if we don't have any arguments. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like we, you know, talking about relationship with Ev, talking about relationship with Scooch, the last nigga, them niggas just left. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't an issue with me. They left for their reasons, you know, and it was other women. So,
I wonder how many women feel the way that you just explained, because I feel like that's probably very common.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you gotta kind of you kind of have to like make up the reason like on your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's really that hurts the most. Because that's the situation where your insecurities really get the best of you. Yeah, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that happened with the gypsy girl.
Like when I get left, like I feel like I'm with, and I'm talking about the people that like I really, really cared about. I feel like they're just always kind of like, you were great, you were this, you were that, and I'm just like,
so why did you leave?
Right. Why? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like in some ways they fuck with me so much that I feel like either they're lying because they don't want to hurt my feelings, or that's just what it is. Like they just won't tell me exactly what. If it is me, they just will not tell me. So I don't know. And even with trying to be self-aware, I'm just like, what did I do wrong? And I'm just like, it's not me, it's them. Like, they wanted something different. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just not that person. And it is what it is. Yeah. And it sucks, you know, especially when you spend months, you know, especially like this last situation of just spending months getting to know someone, and that being like, you know, like when you're really like with someone and y'all fucking too, that's like your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my everyday. And then it just ends. It just fucking sucks. But you know.
How is dating different post pod? Well, you say you ain't really jumped back in yet. Yeah, no. But do y'all feel like men do men even like men shoot shots differently post pod, or do you even tell niggas that you used to have a pod now that you don't do one anymore? Or is that something
it's
that
not really a topic conversation, but like dating is still a shit show. Like,
but I mean,
niggas didn't change. Like the podcast didn't end and just like niggas were just great all of a sudden. Like no, niggas is still trash.
That's not what I'm saying though. But dating having is still the same. But having a sex pod though, we've talked about, or y'all have talked about, like that opens up like this imaginary door that niggas would never probably even come at you in a certain way that they feel like they can. Because you talk about this on some regular shit.
You know what? Honestly, I think when niggas are trying to just fuck, they don't even give a fuck. And I feel like I just been running into niggas that just want to fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even like someone that's like serious. And I feel like the people that I've been serious with over the course of the podcast, like, they didn't give a fuck about the podcast. Like, they knew it was something. Like, they knew it meant something to me. They knew I enjoyed doing it. And so they didn't care what it was that I was talking about or doing or whatever. But, yeah, so, like... But I do feel like when we were doing a podcast, I felt that sometimes I thought at the time that I couldn't be taken seriously because of the podcast, but I was just running into niggas that just didn't want to take shit seriously. Like, they just really, you know what I'm saying? I try to blame it on everything else. Like, it's the podcast. This is why they just want to fuck me all the time. But no, these niggas just be wanting to fuck. Like, they don't be wanting shit. Like, I was so delusional. Like, because I felt like I just gave niggas just like too much credit, like, and blamed it on my show. Like, my show was nothing. My show ain't do shit.
Whole time them. She mad at us because she think we fucking up her relationship.
I can't talk about sex no more. No, fuck that. Like, again, the people that really fuck with you don't even care for real. Like, they're like, oh, I want to actually sit down and be a part of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? People like that really fuck with you, support it, and you know, but. So dating life sucks.
Do y'all feel like Is it more stressful, less stressful, or just the same?
I wouldn't say that it's stressful because I'm at the point in life where I'm like, y'all niggas not about to stress me. But I will say that it's more so annoying. Like when I think about like the things that have, things that have happened since the podcast has ended, made for great content, by the way. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm gonna be 32. Why the fuck am I still going through this type of shit with you niggas? Like, wait, what? Like, it makes me feel it makes me not care about dating even more. Like, right now, I just feel like, again, I just want to do whole shit with my friends. And then it don't even involve niggas. I just want to go and hang out with my girlfriends, my nigga friends, and just have a good time, drink tequila because I like that shit. And, just have a great time. I don't even want niggas to be involved in stuff because they ruin it. Like, you can't even get dick in peace without a nigga ruining the fucking dick. And just little things annoy me. And I think it's also like coming out of this like situation that I really, really liked and then going into, trying to date. Just like little shit turns me off. Like I just
like new shit?
New shit.
Like what? Like
a nigga said
oh my
God.
God.
Don't watch this. But he was like, this on Patreon?
Yeah.
He ain't buying that shit.
All right. He ain't buying that shit.
It turned me off so bad. And he was like, Zim.
Did he say Zaddy after?
Zim. During fucking Zim.
Y'all was fucking?
Zim.
Was you pegging him?
No.
He said Zim. He looked back.
At first, I didn't know what he said. I'm like, did he say Zim? And he just kept saying Zim, and I'm just like, is
He
this nigga
kept-
I'm fucking with?
Niggas is so embarrassing.
And I'm just like, what?
Wait, what was y'all?
I was
y'all
so
doing?
sad.
What was y'all
after
doing?
that. Like, why do I fuck these type of people? And it wasn't even somebody who, like, it was somebody I fucked before, and that was his new thing is Zim, and I'm just like, what the fuck is
Nobody
this?
never checked that nigga?
Zim.
Oh my God.
Zim.
I would have called the cops on him. He raped me. I don't like it. He raped me.
But
I don't like it.
Even though, like, that's funny, like, I was actually sad afterwards. I was just like, why? Like,
This is what my life is. And you know what? I feel like that's the reason that I haven't really putting myself out there because it's just like
don't do it.
God.
Don't do it.
I don't.
You said don't do it.
Don't do it, Zeddy.
Don't
I
do
don't
it.
have time for the disappointment. It's just like I just want a little bit of dick. I just want my ass licked a little bit, and I want to be sent on about my business. But niggas don't know how to do that.
And a little bit of money here and there.
Then they want because then they want to fake fall in love with you, and then I'll be on baby number 2. I don't have the type of time for that shit. It's just like. Drop a little bit of dick off and go ahead about your business. I don't want to hold hands with you. I don't want to kick it with your skate with your nothing. Just go ahead about your business, please.
Oh my God!
Wait,
seriously, what were y'all doing that made him that made him say that?
Say that.
I was zucking Zim. Zim. I'm just like, no. I was just like, why is this my fucking life? I just can't. So I like my best advice if you have like a fuck buddy or like a friend, because I have had like maintained this one friend who I fuck with from time to time, and I'm just like, you know what, that's all I need. I just don't need nothing else, because like it just be like little shit like that. I told you about the guy with the little love language, like everything been an argument. Like I just dating is so hard, and it's really also too hard because we're still in a pandemic, I guess, right? Not in the middle anywhere, like we.
You don't like that.
Whatever.
Maybe
but
the last leg, maybe.
It's still
hopefully.
like very like I feel like people are still. I feel like niggas are definitely using it as an excuse to like not go out and actually date.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
And so it's just not the same. And it's like I don't want you in my space like that. Like, just gonna get. But yes, it's rough. Everything turns me off.
That That's hilarious.
That's definitely my excuse not to link with nobody and not to have like contact with people.
But why would he just not say damn?
Maybe he wasn't giving you enough D.
Stop. You should be thinking about this shit at home tonight.
Yo, so wait. So a new requirement is niggas can't use the letter Z and they...
But
It's
why
just...
the fuck would you go that far though?
You know what? It was just... You know what? I think it was just... I just didn't feel like I was sucking dick that good for it to be a Zam. You know? And I don't know. Something about it was just like, I hate niggas. Like, as soon as he said, I was just like, oh my gosh. It had nothing like... I know like Zam probably sound like it would be like... I would be saying like that it was gay. No, it wasn't that. Like it just was just like, I'm really sucking a nigga dick that say Zam.
So you were more disappointed in yourself.
I was so sad afterwards. Like I'd never been sad after like having sex like that. Like I don't know. It was just.
Did y'all wait? So was that like near the beginning of the?
It was the whole
session?
time. It was the
no,
whole...
I'm saying like, but was this just a dick sucking session or did you suck dick and then y'all fucked afterwards?
That was his first time saying it too?
Yeah. And we had sex before. Like we had sex all the time. Y'all know him pretty well.
Oh, that's sad.
So
it's a new word. It was just like, you so old. Why you pushing 40? What's the Zam?
So wait,
how did you even know that word?
Was it because old niggas using slang is kind of cringe.
Zam. Niggas don't use Zam. Like, no one says Zaddy and Zam, but...
Was he joking? Because, you know, niggas...
No, he said it way too much for it to be
like maybe because he thought...
He had the...
Yeah.
No, he had the...
Or he probably thought you was funny.
Zam.
He was like, let me hit her with these jokes in return.
No, he's not a funny guy. He was dead serious saying Zam.
He was like, Zam.
You know how y'all niggas be like... Zam. Damn, I was just like, cut it out.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It was just, you know, and it brought me back to like, it was like one of those moments where I think it was like, this would make a good story for the podcast, but it was just like, I don't want any more stories for the podcast. Like, I don't want any more like these. I just want y'all niggas not to be annoying and just be pleasant. And even if shit don't work out, just like, don't be a nut ass nigga.
Yeah. Were there ever times where you were like happy that bad shit happens so you could tell the story versus like were you ever disappointed when things actually worked because now you knew that you didn't have a story?
I was never disappointed that things worked, but I definitely feel like I got excited. I'm trying to pinpoint a story that was like really funny, but I was definitely excited that different things happened, especially like when I started eating ass. Like I was not excited about necessarily like eating ass, like, but it was great to have that conversation now because we all had that perspective of we ain't touching nobody's ass or eating ass at that point. So, and that it wasn't that bad and it wasn't, you know, something that like, it was like anytime it was like a story where we grew up in a sense, it was like, okay, I'm glad this happened. You know, I did this and boom.
Mm-hmm. How did y'all, one thing I'm curious about, like, how did y'all, because all of our parents really supported the show, especially like once we started like doing like actual shows and shit. Like, did y'all parents have any thoughts or feelings about not doing the pod anymore?
No, and I was disappointed
that they did.
Like I wanted, so like my parents. So when I first started the podcast, I feel like my parents were like, you know, specifically my mom, they weren't like, she wasn't very like, she didn't really pay attention to it till we actually did our show and she seen the people come out for it. So then that's where her support was. But I would have liked her to ask more questions, like even throughout, like during the show. But when it ended, I was just like, oh, it just ended. And it just wasn't a conversation of like, how do you feel? And how, you know, and I guess I'd be expecting the same thing. Like when I talk to my therapist, for instance, like, how does that make you feel? Like, cause she kind of like, she asked me about how I feel about everything. You know, that's her fucking job. Right. But I just wanted that, like, I'm like, I've been doing this for 5 years. Like, do y'all not know how much this means to me? Why are y'all not asking more questions? Like, why are y'all just like, oh, okay, really? Okay. Yeah. So what you doing today? Wait, what? You know, it's like, even though, like, I think people think that because I ended the podcast, it was just like, oh, fuck this podcast. And it was like this big argument or anything. No, it was just, for me, it was just time to like, we couldn't do it forever. It was just to me, I felt like it was the perfect time to go on, but it didn't mean that I didn't miss this. It didn't mean that my life changed after this, or just, even though we met once a week, that was a time where we got to just let out whatever we wanted to say, and we could joke about it. You know what I'm saying? We could have it was that constant comic relief every fucking week, which was needed in some way. But at the same time, again, like I said, like I couldn't like go on like that, but it still meant a lot to me, and not seeing y'all every week. Like I haven't seen y'all since.
Yeah.
So, it was a big change, and it did affect me. And it affected me more, like, when that happened, something else happened, kind of like a few kind of like big things happened, and I just got so depressed with all of that stuff. Like, all of these, like, 3 major things happened, and it was just like back to back, like it. So I'm more in the podcast for a while because I just, all of these things happen. I had to like really get over, all right, this is not what I'm doing anymore. Even though I didn't want to, it still was just a big change.
I got you. Did your mom like ask you about it at all, or?
She asked me, and she was like, "Did anything happen?" And I'm like, "No." It was. She just, was over it. Like, it was time for, like, it's like we all knew that it was going to end eventually. And she was just like, "Oh, I just wasn't expecting for it to end so soon." But then she thought that it had a lot to do with the pandemic and stuff like that. I'm like, not really, because we seen each other every week, so that wasn't really stopping nothing.
Yeah, I know my ironically, like, and maybe because my mom actually like listens, she didn't have as many questions as my dad did, but my dad was kind of like, my dad's questions weren't really how do you feel. My dad's questions were like, so like, what's the plan? Like, what's the plan for you now? Like, you know what I'm saying? And my mom, because she kind of listened, and even on like some of my lives and some of my Zooms and shit, like I had talked about it after we had like officially like announced it or whatever. So like my mom's kind of got like the full spectrum of like the story, and while it was ending or whatever. So we didn't really have a conversation. But my dad, like I said, he was just more, and that's just who he is. Like, he's just, let's assess it, talk about it real quick. How do you feel about it? What you gonna do going forward, or whatever. And that was really the conversations that I had with him, and my mom was just really real. She really just listened because she just listened to me tell everybody. So she didn't really have too many.
I think too, like, it wasn't, like, I feel like you had your thing going, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like as if, like, I don't think it was like she had to ask you like, what's next? We know what's next, like, you know what I'm saying, with you. So it wasn't, I don't know how you, like, I'm pretty sure like your dad doesn't tune in as much as your mom does, like, to this stuff. So maybe he just didn't know, but I just think it probably wasn't a question that she needed to ask. Like, she knew, what was up. But my mom, like, they didn't really, they were just like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, anything I do, they're just like, oh, okay. And it wasn't until this year that I, like, had to really, I think they started to understand that they need to ask more questions. Like, I for the first time after the podcast ended, I was very vulnerable with my parents, specifically, especially my mom, and just kind of letting her in. While we've always been close, we just haven't been like, I've never been able to open up to her about like very personal things. So now I feel like, if something changed or whatever, she would be more concerned about it. But yeah, she just was just like, okay.
I got you. That's something I'm still trying to, I guess, like, learn as far as how to accept like the different types of support and stuff too, because we've talked about that a lot, where sometimes like when you're in it, you want people to support the way that you want them to support, as opposed to just kind of accepting the different ways of support that different people give. And I'll be having to kind of like check myself on that a lot of the time. Because I just be wanting people to support just one specific way. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people support by, you don't even know that they're supporting you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's facts.
But it's just like, I don't know, man. That shit is weird. And what I'm realizing is, I don't think that these like thoughts of like, of a creator, I don't really think that they ever stop. Really, no matter how big something gets. Because I remember one time I was thinking like, and I don't even know this nigga, but I was like, yo, I need to apologize to Wale. Because I've never been a Wale fan. Because I always thought like he was real whiny.
My stupid ass gonna say, who the fuck is that?
The rapper,
like,
nigga.
Why you? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wait, pause. Did you see the tweet where they was like, Wallow is our Nipsey? And they was like, from Martin? Why? Why the fuck old people?
Why the fuck was your ex there? Why the fuck was y'all doing that? Okay. I hate
They
Philly
said
so
from Martin
fucking
because
bad.
we know you're not talking about no Nipsey Hussle.
I hate Philly so fucking bad.
Oh my god, yo. But nah, cause like every time I used to see this nigga on an interview, I feel like he would always be whining, always be talking about how people don't respect him enough or love him enough or acknowledge him enough. He's not big enough. And I would be watching thinking like, nigga, you super fucking famous, bro. Like, you super famous. You make great music, great albums. I'm sure you got bread. Like, why are you fucking complaining? But then it's like you get on the side of it where you just think so many more people should be fucking with you. And you kind of take it as like disrespect almost.
And as the creator, like a lot of times, like when you're a low level creator, like you do everything your fucking self. So, in which people don't really see for real, but you doing equipment, you doing sound check, you doing every fucking thing, getting these guests lined up, you doing your own promo, 100%. And so when people don't fuck with it, you like, not only do I got a good ass episode, but I didn't produce this and edit this and I didn't do all this shit. How fucking dare y'all not fuck with this?
Yeah.
But in regards to Wale though, you don't owe that nigga apology though, because he was whining. Like he was like it. And it's not necessarily like you're allowed to feel some type of way. Just like I just had this whole big rant where I felt like people needed to put some respect on how we changed the game in this city. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to be crying about that shit. But yeah, he was whining a little bit.
Yeah.
But also too, I see why he's not the level that he wants to be. He ain't got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Damn.
How far are we in?
We good, man. I'm good. This was a great convo. We ain't really
I feel like it's so. Wait. How you been after the podcast?
Oh, all right.
You know what I'm saying? How you been managing? What's your dating life and sex life like?
I feel like I've probably been a workaholic more than any other time, like other than baseball. I've kind of come to the realization that like this is like my baseball after baseball. Like it's kind of weird how that has kind of worked out where I don't really date a lot. I don't really fuck a lot. Because like most of my time is like really devoted to how am I gonna take this to the next level? Like how can I get better? How can I learn some more? How can I, research some more stuff that's gonna make it sound better, look better? Or, honestly, the money that goes into this probably has replaced the money that would have gone into dating. You know what I mean? Because like I try to look at everything now in terms of like, okay, well maybe I might be able to spend $100 on going out for fucking food and drinks, or I could put that $100 into a ticket to go somewhere, or into like, you know, a new piece of equipment that I would need that would make my shit look better or whatever. So it really just takes up a lot of my time. Like here and there, like I go out on a date. Here and there, I'll get a dick suck or have some sex and shit, but not really. And it's really not even a focus. Like, and it's never really been a focus, but there have been times when, like, I don't want to say I wish that I had somebody that I could just, like, really call up and just, like, get it popping, but that don't really happen often now. Like, that's not something that I really think about. Like, when I wake up, I don't be thinking about ass. I be thinking about this. Like, that shit is...
Good for the women that's not trying to throw ass to you. Good for y'all. Don't throw ass at that nigga at all. Like, you don't need it.
But nah, I mean, but other than that, though, like, I feel like I've been gaining some traction. I definitely go through my ebbs and flows, like, emotionally. Just in terms of, like kind of what you said, where you feel like you putting out a really good product, but then you post it or you throw it up on social media and you don't really get the love that you think that it deserves.
Yeah.
And that sometimes, like, sometimes it makes it it doesn't make, like, recording isn't difficult, coming up with topics isn't difficult, going off the top isn't difficult, because I feel like that's what we came from. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the difficult part is sometimes motivating myself to do it, knowing that the amount of people who are going to see this is going to be way less than who needs to see this. So that is like a battle that I feel like I'm always fighting, is to just keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to, like, really believe in, like, I believe in myself. I believe in my talent, but sometimes I don't fully believe in, like, the world that I'm trying to get to hear me. And that's the part that is tough. Because it's like you want to have these, like, super, like you were saying, you want to have these super amazing conversations. You want to make them, like, groundbreaking. You want them to be, like, full of knowledge and information and gems and all that shit. But like, if it falls on deaf ears, then, like, it make you feel like, what's the point? Like, you know what I'm saying? I could have all these great conversations with these men, and that, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, big things like, don't talk to us, like, talk to your niggas.
Y'all niggas talk to y'all motherfuckers.
You know what I'm saying? But it's
don't
like,
talk on that.
And I was saying this last night when I was talking to Vic and Charlie. It's like, I can do that. Like, I can.
That's what I'm saying.
I got Charlie. Let me put my foot on the cold floor.
It's like I can do that. I could formulate or put together a conversation amongst men about men, how we feel, how we think, what we need to do better, accountability, all of that. But it's like, after we had a conversation, are the people gonna help me get it into the eyes and ears of who really needs to hear it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, and I had a rant about this where it was like you could say what you just said to me, like, talk to your niggas about it, right? And I actually be like, you know what? I am gonna talk to my niggas about it. But then it's like me
to the conversation like
Then it's like me, like, giving the conversation to you. And it's like, since you the one who told me to talk to my niggas, like, now give it to the niggas who need to hear it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I am right now. Like, how do I do that? And that's where like the promoting and the marketing part is something that that's what I spend my time on. Like, how can I be better at doing that shit or whatever? Because I kind of feel like, man, like, the dating and the fucking and the sex and all that shit, I feel like that shit had come, like, if I'm successful.
I just guess it's the horror in me. I just fit in sex. It doesn't matter. Like,
I know that type of shit has never really been a big deal for Jackson.
Yeah,
so I guess
I like having a
one
sex
of those
life.
Other
though.
niggas, like, he would definitely make time for that shit.
Yeah, because
like, all right,
30
bitches,
niggas
be
be
here at
making time.
7:00 because we gonna record because at 11:30 I'm getting my dick sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I'm
it's
sure you're in fucking out. Like,
it's not but it's, I mean, again,
it's like one of those things that's like, you know, like a beer after you didn't work, you know, fucking 12 hours at the fucking mine. At the mines. You know, mining shit. And, you know, like, I think that's what sex has been for me. Like, even when I'm like, I'm taking a break from sex, like, I'm just taking a break from emotional side of sex, but I'm still having sex. Like, I like it. I'm not, I see how y'all do it, but I don't see how y'all do it at the same time.
Well, sometimes it's because, women do get distracted, but I think when women get distracted, I can't even say that because what I was gonna say was I think when women get distracted by sex, it's not as disruptive to their life, but that's a fucking lie.
No, that's a fucking lie.
But
These titties are just gone. Okay, I told you the story. I told you that story about how I lost. Are my eyebrows still on?
Yeah, nigga.
One swipe, they gone.
I think that it's like, if you get too caught up into having sex as a woman, it can disrupt your life, but it can't disrupt your life to the point where you can't find other men. But like if a man allows sex to be at the forefront of his life to where he's losing out on the opportunity to become more successful, that can make him not be desirable to other women in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of where that's how I can like make sense of being able to put sex like to the back burner. Yeah. Most of the time and shit like that. But if niggas get a fucking layup, like, I'm gonna have fun for a Saturday, you know what I'm saying, for a weekend or whatever. But for the most part, it's like it's always back to the regularly scheduled program, man. But I feel good though, just overall after the pod, like Drew said, like I feel like we all kind of saw it coming, saw the writing on the wall, and plus we spoke about it like a month before we actually officially ended it.
Yeah.
And it was just, for me, it was bittersweet because like I really enjoyed the group dynamic. I enjoyed the group dynamic of us being able to talk like regular friends and not having it not be structured, not be scripted, literally just sitting down and just chopping it up. But I also like the fact that by not having the responsibility of being there every Wednesday, it kind of allowed me more time to be a little bit more free, like with my traveling shit, with editing, just really with everything. You know what I mean? Because like the pod always came first as far as like the creative stuff, because that's what we started first.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what allowed me to branch off into different things. So like I was always gonna pay homage, I guess, to the group dynamic first, and then try to schedule my personal stuff around it. So it made it easier for me to kind of blossom in that way.
Yeah.
So I feel,
Which is good.
I feel good.
I'm glad that was the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel good, man. I just that meant the mental you know what it makes me respect you even more, because really with the pod, you and I really just came and sat down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had to do like the editing and the behind the scenes and the setting up and the breaking down and then this and that. I respect that part a lot more. And I respect that part a lot more even when I started the one mic shit. But like now being able to like really put 100% into it, like it's kind of like up the responsibility, up the lack of sleep, up the mental stress. You know what I mean? Because like how sex with strangers was your baby, like this is mine.
Yeah, that's your. Listen, I mean, I told you, mention just having very awful fucking days where I'm like, I'm about to just off my motherfucking self, and I'm like, damn, ain't nobody gonna post this damn last episode, and they gotta hear this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? So, and the podcast, brought so many good things, friends, and just everything. Like, I do love the things that the podcast did give me at the end of the day. But I think also as a creator too, like, I don't think this is like Sex with Strangers was the last thing that I'll create for sure, but I do think as, you know, being a creator, like, you know when to end certain things, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that, you know, it didn't, like, I don't think ending a podcast ended any of us, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
As, you know, people doing our, you know, our thing out here, creating, starting businesses. I think it actually did kind of, all right, you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to do this now. So I think that I'll give myself some respect. Because I feel like that's, like, you should know when things, okay, when a certain thing, all right, it has ran its course.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the next thing. What the next thing is for me, I don't know, but I did know that, all right, this is it for this one.
Yeah. How you feel?
And I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you. I
really am.
Are you in a rush to find it?
I mean, part of me, yeah, because I, like I mentioned, I want to do whole shit. You know, with endless bags of money. But I'm just kind of, this is going to sound cliche as fuck, but I'm really just taking shit day by day. The last few months have been crazy. So I think that I'm learning to slow down and kind of just enjoy, like, what's going on. My time in Florida, and kind of put in perspective of, like, friendship. You know what I'm saying? How, like, I didn't really show up in my friendships too much, like, and just kind of wanting to be closer to the people that appreciate me most, which is my friends, and, you know, some of my family, whatever. So trying to really just focus on, you know, doing whole shit with my family and my friends. You know, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, again, like, when we ended the podcast, I'm like, listen, I'm going, like, my whole goal, like, I might be depressed right now about a certain thing, but when I'm over this, you know, I'm going to continue living a fulfilling life. And I think that's where I'm at. Like, I'm going to live a fulfilling life regardless. And right now, you know, even though I don't know what to do, I'm still going to live my life and just, you know, take it day by day, try to be happy if I can.
Yeah.
If not, you know, feel whatever I need to feel, but just kind of keep it moving.
I got you, man. Y'all got any last words, speech, curse outs? I don't know.
I'm not addressing you niggas anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, keep it pushing. But I will say this. Again, if you want to pay a motherfucking sister's rent, you know what I'm saying, even half, you know, 3/4. Swing my way. Listen, you can talk to me a little spicy.
Don't talk to me like that. No.
Yo, that's fucking stupid.
No, you know, until a nigga actually talked to me spicy, because the nigga was like, this one particular nigga just cursed me out about 3 good times. Like, you know what? You ain't gonna be talking to me spicy like this no more.
What was he paying though? Was he paying anything?
No.
Oh. So
these niggas do not be trying to eat.
Niggas thinking they pay you mine like they really paying for your whole life. Like, sir, like, the fuck, do you realize, like,
the attention that you give, sir, I promise I don't want it. Take it back.
Well, you know, but for men though, right? Like, time is like is our currency though.
No, maybe your time is your currency, but these other niggas don't be doing shit. Like, y'all go to work, that's it. Y'all better be with y'all kids every other fucking weekend. Cut it out.
You gotta stop comparing yourself to these other niggas. Like,
oh my god,
your time is up here. You know, do it. Action. That's you. That's your 24/7. But these other niggas, they ain't doing shit. This your. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting your hookah time. Okay.
Your hookah time. I still hate hookah. I still hate that shit. Oh my god, man. But anyway, I thank y'all, man. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming back on.
The nigga only invited us twice. And once was by default because we was living together in Houston.
It wasn't even by default.
Shut the fuck up.
It wasn't by default. I'm gonna try to.
I guess y'all could be in it since y'all upstairs.
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna see if she. I want to see if she want to do a part 2. See if I can pistol her
When
mouth.
is, like, Well, never mind. It's COVID. I'm like, when is the next kickback? I want to do a kickback. I want to.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm excited to
I
get
got
out.
invited to a kickback over the weekend. I was just like, see, I'm glad I didn't go because I ain't seen not a mask in sight. It was screaming, just give me COVID, please.
Yo, nah, niggas be thinking that shit over, man. I be still.
Yo, yeah, niggas definitely still be getting COVID.
I think it's getting.
Definitely be like, when COVID over, when who?
I don't think it's ever gonna be like over though. I think niggas gonna be wearing masks for at least the next decade.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like now that like
Even when they be like, y'all don't have to wear a mask no more. I'm
like you know how like when you looking bummy on like a weekend or whatever, like you just running errands and shit like that, and like you put on a hat and you hopefully nobody really see you or notice you. Now like that mask is like. Like if you recognize me with a mask on, get a fucking life. Like, why are you recognizing me out in public when I got a mask and a hat on? I love it. Nobody speaks to you. Like, you're unapproachable. Like
the fact that you love that is ridiculous to me.
But when you're out in public and you try to get shit done, I'm trying to get shit done. I'm trying to go out. I hate shopping.
Do you know
what I'm saying? Out in
Are
stores.
y'all offended when men approach you even when you have a mask on? Like, are you offended at the fact that they can still tell that, you know what I'm saying, they think you look nice?
No, I don't think I ever get like approached in public. And if it is, it's like somebody like, small baby girl. But I have had people like recognizing. I'm like, oh my gosh. I get upset. Like, why are you recognizing me in my mask?
Unless it was like one of my cousins or somebody. Like, I've seen like my cousins out like at the grocery store and stuff like that.
I always recognize people with their mask on, but I never say shit to them because I'm minding my fucking business with my mask on, and I suggest you do the same.
But also, people see Cam, and then they be like, "Oh,
that's a dead giveaway too." Yeah. Oh my God, y'all funny, man. But yo, man, tell the people where they can find y'all if they don't know who y'all are already.
I'm on CashApp, $ C Marquis CIIMARQUI. If y'all want to fund my life.
This raggedy bitch. I'm on Instagram at I Got the Juice. Y'all can follow my business page. It's Cammy's Corner, KAMMYS. KORNER. Did I spell it right? That's the same.
Oh my God.
Corner.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, that's it.
And I'm Jax, man. Jackson1616. You already know. This is on Patreon, so I'm glad that y'all watched to the end. If y'all did, follow these niggas, buy her shirts, fund her life, and sign up to my Patreon. You already on the Patreon, so tell all of your homies and your friends and all of the people who need to hear these types of conversations, man. Don't forward it to them. Tell them niggas to fucking subscribe and sign up so I can eat a couple of sandwiches next week. So I appreciate y'all. Another episode down while we're doing the Philly episodes. Yeah, we done. I'm out. Good night.